Here's something I bet you didn't know. It's impossible to see inside of a black hole. And by that I mean no one has ever seen inside of a black hole. Not even light can escape a black hole, so we can't see anything coming from inside of them. So we don't know what's actually inside a black hole. But if we want to understand how the universe works, we have to try. And we have to start with the biggest question of all. What is inside a black hole? Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm here to talk about space. We're going to go to some places today that humans have never gone before, all for the sake of answering our burning questions about the universe. Now, for a lot of people, the idea of a black hole is kind of terrifying. I think it's because the name itself sounds kind of scary. It's like saying, beware of doom. But I think it's worth remembering that the only reason we have these terrifying monsters in the first place is because our sun will die and most likely turn into one. So at least you know you're in good hands. Okay, let's jump in, alright? Now that we've gotten past the part where I introduce myself and talk about how black holes are actually as scary as they sound, let's get down to business. What is inside a black hole? Well, to answer that, we have to first talk about what isn't inside a black hole. Because when it comes to our solar system, it's pretty simple. A black hole is nothing but a lot of mass packed into a tiny space. In the case of our sun, that means that when it dies, 99% of the mass of the sun will be packed into a space that is about 20 kilometers across. The amount of stuff in that space is estimated to be around 9 billion kilometers cubed. And that's just the size of a cube. Imagine the size of a sphere. That's how much space a black hole takes up. And that's also where a lot of the confusion comes in. If a black hole is just a big ball of stuff, why can't we just poke it and find out what's inside? Well, it turns out that we can't just poke a black hole because poking it would require us to cross the event horizon. And once we cross that point of no return, there's no turning back. And by that I mean we would never be able to get back out again. See, the thing about black holes is that they warp space and time in ways that we are just beginning to understand. In fact, we don't even really understand them at all. They're like dark matter. No one has ever seen one up close. No one has ever been inside one. And no one has ever come out of one. Well, not that we know of. Anyway, we have never seen inside a black hole. But that doesn't mean that we don't have any theories. See, we know from observation that black holes do not just sit still. They move around. They spin around. They collide with other black holes. And they collide with other stuff. Like, for example, stars. And every time a black hole interacts with something else in the universe, it gives off an X-ray. And those X-rays tell us a lot about what's happening near the event horizon. For example, if a black hole is spinning, it will emit X-rays that are beamed like a lighthouse. We have actually observed these beams of X-rays, and we know that many black holes are spinning. But we also know that not all of them are. Some black holes are rotating while others are not moving at all. And that's where things get a little bit weird. Because if a black hole is not moving, then the only way to get inside of it is to go straight through the center. That means that if a black hole is not spinning, then there is no event horizon. And that raises a lot of questions. For example, if there's no event horizon, then what happens to all of the stuff that falls into the black hole? Does it just disappear? And if it does, where does it go? Well, we don't really know the answer to that question yet. But we do know that if a black hole is spinning, then there is an event horizon and we can never see inside of it. That's because the event horizon of a black hole is like a wall. Once you hit it, there is no turning back. And that means that we can never see what happens inside of a black hole. But that doesn't mean that we can't try. And the best way to see inside of a black hole is to send something into it. Now, obviously, we can't send people into black holes. People are made of atoms, and atoms are not exactly known for their ability to travel through wormholes. In fact, no one has ever sent anything into a black hole, but we might soon. Because in 2017, scientists proposed a crazy idea. They wanted to send a spaceship into a black hole, and the mission would be filmed in real time so we could see what happens. It would be like sending a drone into a volcano. Except instead of lava, the drone would be met with an intense heat death. Of course, the drone wouldn't survive, but it would give us valuable data about what's happening inside of a black hole. But that's not the only way we might be able to see inside of a black hole. There's also the possibility that we could use gravitational waves to see inside of a black hole. Gravitational waves are ripples in spacetime caused by massive objects moving around. When the black holes collide, they produce a huge burst of gravitational waves, and those gravitational waves carry information about what's happening inside of the black holes. In fact, in 2016, scientists detected the first ever gravitational wave, and it was the perfect opportunity to study what was happening inside of a black hole. But unfortunately, the detection was not very strong. It wasn't enough to tell us what was happening inside of the black holes. But maybe someday it will be. Maybe someday we will be able to see inside of a black hole. Maybe someday we will be able to see inside of a black hole. You know, when I was writing this script, I kept thinking about how cool it would be to be able to see inside of a black hole. I mean, sure, it would be terrifying to be pulled into a black hole, but it would also be amazing to be able to see what's happening inside of one. I know it's kind of silly, but I can't help it. I'm a space nerd. And I know there are a lot of you out there who are space nerds too. That's why you're watching this video. You're probably wondering what lies within a black hole. And honestly, I can't blame you. I'm the same way. But here's the thing. We may never know what lies within a black hole. We may never be able to see inside of one. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't keep trying. Because who knows what we might find? Maybe we'll find another universe. Maybe we'll find a new way to travel through spacetime. Or maybe we'll find something else entirely. The point is we should never stop trying to learn more about the universe. And if you want to be a part of that, then I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be notified every time I release a new video. And trust me, you won't regret it. So, what do you think lies within a black hole? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, be sure to check out my other videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.